Alrighty, it's early morning. Well, not necessarily. It's only like 10 o'clock or something. But you guys voted on my Instagram, and you guys voted for misconceptions about snakes. So therefore, that's what I'm gonna do for you guys today. And of course, I have my trusty little sidekick, my very expensive son slash child slash serpent, whatever you want to call him, Zebulon, giving me kisses for some odd reason. Zeb, we got to get a video done today, sir. All right, misconception number one: all snakes are not venomous. Like, you see this thing here. This is a constrictor. He is completely non-venomous. Not saying that he's harmless, even though my snake, he personally is harmless. All snakes can inflict harm, but it's mainly out of a place of defense. Like, what would you do if you felt scared of somebody just following you around or just wanting to, like, touch you? You're going to fight back. That's essentially what snakes are. A lot of them are typically defensive critters that just want to just be left alone. And in his case, he probably wants to be left alone. But now he is taking full advantage of my hand, and I have no blood circulation flowing to my pinky right now. But it's like that. So all snakes are not venomous. They are not venomous. They're typically pretty harmless. They're actually some of the most chillest animals that could ever live on the planet. Now, it's not saying like, hey, go out and just start to befriend every snake, because I'm gonna tell you now, a lot of them are not gonna be as friendly as him. I'm gonna tell you that now. A lot of snakes are like the epitome of Black Air Force energy. Trust me on that one. But number two, larger constrictors such as pythons, some boas, they do not size you up if you have them as a pet. Like, say you have one laying down next to you in the bed, which I don't advise everyone to do unless you completely trust the snake. They're not sizing you up to kill you. Trust me. Now, a reticulated python has the potential to possibly eat a human, maybe a smaller human, depending on how big the snake is. But, like, a reticulated python is not gonna, like, lay down next to you to, like, size you up, because for one, these snakes already know how big they are, so they're not going to be like, let me see if I'm big enough so I can eat them. Because if that were the case, then snakes would do that for every animal that it can hunt. Sorry, I'm getting a little shaky here. But snakes would do that for every animal that they would hunt. They would literally sit down next to it and see if they're big enough to eat it. Like, even Zebulon, he doesn't even size up the mice that I give him. He just takes it. So that's a theory you can push out the way. So that's another misconception. Snakes do not size up their prey. They do not size up people. If you ever see a snake doing that, chances are they're just fly on me. Chances are they're just stretching out. That's it. Fly, get off of me. They're just stretching themselves out and just getting a good stretching. It's no different from you stretching out your arms like this. That's what they're doing. They're just like letting their muscles just stretch out and just, get limber for today. That's all they're doing. All right, this next one, number three, is going to be a little bit for, like, those who live in captivity, like, your captive bred snakes, or like your snakes that are typically for, like, ownership for sale and stuff like that. It's kind of like Zebulon. Um, all snakes do not eat live animals typically half the time. They don't do it, and I can prove it to you. Not one time have I ever fed Zebulon. He wants a kiss. Not one time have I ever fed Zebulon anything that was live, because personally, I don't like live feeding because of my reasons. One, I just don't like watching an animal die in person. Like, I can watch a video of, like, live feeding and I'll be okay, but to see it in person, I can't do it because I'm a pretty emotional dude and I'm pretty sensitive. But all snakes do not do live feeding. So, like, if you're thinking about getting a snake but you don't want to own one because you don't like the live feeding, remember, all snakes do not do live feeds. Some of them do strictly frozen thawed, just because of how they were raised or just because they might be a picky eater. But they do not do live feeding all the time. And if you're ever thinking about getting a snake, consider maybe getting a corn snake, because they're really great feeders. They have amazing feeding responses. Very seldom will they go on hunger strikes, but 9 times out of 10, they are going to accept the food when you offer. If they don't, means they're probably hunger striking. They're getting a little picky. They might be getting bigger and they want bigger prey items, which shouldn't be too large. Like, you can give them like maybe medium-sized rats to large-sized mice. It was what I give the Zebulon, to give him large-sized mice. But anything other than that, should be good. But yeah, all snakes do not do live feeding. That's point blank, period. Um, and another thing about that is that um, snakes will sometimes get hurt. I've seen it happen. I've dealt with a bunch of snakes who have had, a few bite marks on them from previous owners who gave them live meals like mice, because if you kind of just throw a mouse in there, 9 times out of 10, or mouse or a rat, and it's not stunned, chances are that mouse or rodent or whatever living creature is going to put up a fight before it's killed. So that's another thing to consider when it comes to that misconception about, snakes. They're completely, sometimes they can be a little versatile when it comes to their food. So it's all right to, kind of think of that, but like once you gain that knowledge of it, you'll be pretty good. But yeah, that's misconception number 3. Misconception number 4: snakes are not these man-eating beasts. Now, I kind of mentioned this point earlier in the video, but I'm gonna mention it again. Larger constrictors, like, your anacondas, your Burmese python, your reticulated python, even your boa constrictor, they're not these man-eating beasts. Like, very seldom will they eat somebody. Like, it's been a while since I've ever heard of a story of, one actually eating a person. But it's happened before. Like, it's definitely happened before, and I'm not saying that they won't, but they're typically not your man-eating beast. They're actually typically very elusive of human beings. Like, even sometimes it'll take me a good 10 minutes to even find him and his enclosure, because he likes hiding so much. And that's okay, because, I wouldn't want to be, woken up from my sleep all the time. So that's, it's a little bit of a short misconception that I'm mentioning, but it is. People definitely think of it a lot. They really think that snakes are like these flesh-eating beasts, when in truth they're just like, you do you and I'll do me. Simply like that. That's misconception number 4. Misconception number 5. I'm probably going to do another one of these videos just because I'm actually kind of having fun with it. Misconception number 5. Man. Man, oh man, oh man. This is something that I always heard of growing up because I live in Virginia. So it's kind of a thing in the South. And I'm not sure if it's common from where any of you guys are from. But if, you guys heard of this one, let me know in the comments. Number 5, snakes shed seasonally. Snakes do not shed seasonally. If you see, if a snake is shedding, that just means they're getting bigger and they just need to make more room. All reptiles shed. Even turtles shed. Lizards shed. Tarantulas even shed. If if you see snake shed, like around springtime or anything, that's not, a seasonal thing. That's just meaning the snake itself is just getting bigger wherever that snake is. And you are hindering me from speaking, young man, for putting your mouth on my mouth. And I really should have chose my words better that time. But yeah, snakes do not shed seasonally, because if that were the case, then I would have only had about one shed out of him by now, even though he's a tropical species that is not native to Virginia. He is native to Nicaragua and the rest of Central America, and little parts of South America. If that were the case, I would have only had about one shed out of him by now. I've got like 5 different sheds and one perfect shed out of him. So snakes do not shed seasonally. They shed based on their growth rate. And even adult snakes shed, but that's just only so they can get, that dead skin off of them. For boas constrictors, from what I know, they usually shed like adult boas, they usually shed like two once every 2 months or sometimes once a month, to my knowledge. I know he typically sheds sometimes at the beginning of every month and sometimes at the end of every month, and it, kind of translates into the beginning of the next month, which is kind of contradictory to what I just said. It, pretty much another circle. But like, yeah, that's, what it comes to when it comes to like, their shed. That's a misconception people always have. And if you guys notice, I'm not looking into the camera. I'm actually looking at him on the screen, just so I know where the heck he's going, because like he's still a typically small snake, and I'm just trying to see where he's trying to go because I'm outside right now and I'm kind of leery whenever he's out here. Yes, just feel on my face. Thank you. Yeah, that's misconception number 5. Um, Snakes do not shed seasonally. They shed based on their growth. And for the owners of snakes, for those who are just getting into the hobby, how do you spot out when your snake is about to shed? Your snake will typically sometimes stop refusing meals. This is personality based because there's a whole physical side that goes into why they stop when they're about to go into shed. Um, Sometimes they'll just, stop refusing meals. They'll smell the meal that you offer to them, but they won't take it sometimes. And you'll be like, is something wrong with my snake? Is there something wrong with my snake? Are they sick? Do they have a respiratory infection? Do they have rot mouth? Blah, 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 this and that, X, Y, and Z. No. Case is they're not hungry because they're about to shed. And when they're shedding, that is the time when they're like straight up like, okay, I'm about to put in all my energy. I might let you touch me a few times, but I'm not going to let you really hold me like that. Zebulon, for him, me and him have like that bond where he kind of doesn't mind if I hold him while he's in shed, even though I kind of try to avoid it now. But like if I have to go into his enclosure to like get something out of there, like clean up some poo, he'll like sometimes crawl on my hand when he's in shed, and I'm like, no, 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 you can't do that. You need to get your, that stuck shed off of you and stuff like that. Blah blah blah. But you know, for the new owners of snakes, don't fret if your snake's not eating and they start getting a little dull in color. They're not sick. They're just about to get their skin off of them, and then they'll end up being all pretty. You might see their iridescence a bit. I'm gonna show you guys Zebulon up close. Like, look at this snake. I'm trying to make it focus. But like, look how gorgeous this snake is. He is super gorgeous. I love him. But yeah, that is misconceptions about snakes. And here's a bonus: they can be lovable. See, yeah, snakes can be very lovable. And I'm gonna save that for the next misconception I video I do. And he's giving me forehead kisses. And please do not look at that fly because I'm not trying to have you bite at something and I get bit in the eyelid, young man. Um, but yeah, I have fun doing this video, misconceptions about snakes, because it's just, something I've wanted to get out for a while now, just to, let people know more about so they don't have to be afraid of snakes. You don't have to be afraid of a snake. You don't have to like them, but they're nothing to be afraid of because they're some of the most chillest creatures in the world for anybody to ever come across. And they're incredibly elegant as well. So, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on notification bell for one. I'm talking to you guys now because I really don't have to focus on it because I gotta take it back inside. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment again, turn on notification bells, and if you have any comments, suggestions, or just any questions, feel free to comment down below and I'll answer it. But appreciate it, you guys. Stay blessed. God loves you, and I'm out. Z and Zebulon. You want to say bye to the people? yeah, say bye to the people. Oh, say bye.